I was travelling yesterday and caught on trains which didn't go anywhere, so I didn't deal with all the stories that maybe I should have done. And Matt Hancock's story was one I should really have dealt with. Matt Hancock was giving evidence against a fellow called Gaza, who had been harassing him, pursuing him, taking photographs and shouting things at him. And there was some sort of squabble on the top of an escalator, and Matt Hancock said he felt physically intimidated and thought that he was going to be pushed down the escalator. Well, that isn't really the way to go about it, is it? It's again, it's simply wrong. There are plenty of things which are wrong about Matt Hancock. Not least the stationery cupboard. There's plenty of things wrong with people like Suella Braverman, but we don't think about pushing them down the escalator, and we certainly don't intimidate them in that way in public. I think if I were to meet Matt Hancock, I would invite him for a cup of tea, and similarly Suella Braverman, I hope. I'm sure both of them, and indeed Anne Widdecombe, would be charming company. And it's a big difference between calling somebody out for their stupidity politically. And I know I call Matt Hancock out for his television, for his camera appearance with Gina Coladangelo, but I consider that an extension, as indeed would Gina, of his political office. It was in his political office, it was in his work time, and that really is the point. But on a personal level, I have no gripe. Similarly, Nadine Dorries, I have no gripe at all with her. But as Secretary of State for Digital Culture, Media and Sport, she should be openly ridiculed because she didn't do her job. As indeed Lucy Fraser, as indeed Michelle Donnellan, as indeed Oliver Dowden. And we make everybody makes us everybody simplifies to try and make a point. I mean, I will be called up, no doubt, for suggesting that Biden indicted Trump. He didn't, of course. That was done through a much bigger mechanism, but it was done under his watch. And so we simplify, and those simplifications are part of our rhetorical flourish, I hope, as a nation, as a global player. As also the opportunity to rethink and recalibrate and so on. But threatening to push someone down the stairs, or giving the impression you're going to push somebody down the stairs, intimidating somebody physically, this is the stuff of a thug. And in the same way as I'm extremely sympathetic to Prince Harry, I'm extremely sympathetic to Matt Hancock in this situation. I would, if I had been there, I would have gone to his assistance directly. It doesn't matter what I think of his policies or his activity in office. This is a point where he is genuine, where he can genuinely say, I'm only human. And that humanity, it's, you have to think, well, yeah, he's made a mess of things. He's made a pig's ear of things. But in the end, he got involved in politics because he wanted to give something back, because he wanted to make a contribution. As indeed Nadine Dorries. Nadine Dorries wanted to make a contribution, as if writing a ton of extraordinary novels was not a contribution enough. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that J.K. Rowling should get involved in politics, God forbid. But Hancock really is a figure of tragedy. He had so much promise, and he failed so much. if you compare Hancock to somebody like Hilary Benn, Hilary Benn has just put in the time and done the work. Whether you approve of his politics or not, you cannot but approve of the man and the commitment. Similarly, Chris Heaton-Harris. They're on all sides of the house, these people who have committed themselves to public life and who just get on with it. Yeah, it could be accident, it could be intent, it could be greed, it could be sort of being misled. People can easily get off the straight and narrow, but nobody should fear for their life in public office. And it brings us once again back to the issue of Prince Harry. And the more we terrify people in public office, the more they become inaccessible. And that is the big problem. When we can't reach those people who represent us, they don't represent us. They're just representing the people who reach them, the lobbyists. That's not politics.